Are you a dark dreamer? Bernie Wrightson clearly is. Long acknowledged as one of the premier horror artists of our time, Wrightson has already left his mark as both an illustrator and as a designer of movie monsters. Wrightson first came to prominence as a co-creator of the leading horror comic of its era, Swamp Thing. He has also illustrated the comic book version of Stephen King's movie Creepshow, as well as King's novella, Cycle of the Werewolf. Yet his greatest work to date has been his illustrations for a special edition of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. Wrightson also has contributed creature designs for such major motion pictures as Ghostbusters and The Faculty. Bernie Wrightson recently invited us to his home in Los Angeles, where he discussed with us how he came to be an artist and a dark dreamer. For a lot of people, the idea of monsters, for most boys, was a part of their lives, but in a sense it was just a phase. And we went through it and we got out of it and we went on with our lives. But for a very, very select few, which includes Bernie Wrightson and Stanley Wiater, we have yet to get out of that phase. Do you have any idea why that is?
I just think that we're the lucky ones, that we never outgrew it. Sometimes I think your brain is like a kitchen wall. Your brain is like a kitchen wall, and you take a plate of spaghetti with meatballs and meat sauce and throw it at the wall. Most of it slides down to the floor, but there are some bits that stick to the wall, Those few little bits that stick to the wall are the important things. That's the stuff that lodges in my brain. It's the monsters and the horror and finding that little chill, in a story or in a movie, that little moment that just sends a shiver up your spine. It beats all the roller coasters in the world. This is a very specialized, refined response that we're trying to elicit out of someone. Okay, yeah, we don't want to make you laugh necessarily, but we give you that shiver up your spine, which, for me is, that's as good as a laugh. I would, if I can shiver your spine and make you laugh at the same time, that's great. That's terrific. I know that, no matter where I am, what I'm doing, whatever time of day, I'm tuned into, whatever you want to call it, the dark side. And something will occur to me, out of a seemingly clear blue sky, some idea for some really delightfully horrible picture, just kind of pop in there. It's, wow, is that cool or what?
Well, all the classics, and there's many that we could name, but why is Frankenstein strike such a special chord within you?
Out of all the horror stories and monster movies and everything that I've read or seen or experienced, Frankenstein is the one that really resonates with me. I don't know why. It made more of an impression on me than any of the other monsters. And I guess I've known since I was a kid, since I was about 15 years old, that I wanted to illustrate it. And that's gone through several changes over the years. It's I was originally going to do it as a comic book, graphic novel. Had made a few runs at that, and it never went anywhere. And then finally decided, I would do the illustrations for the book.
And how long did that take?
It took about 6 or 7 years to do it. By the time I was ready to do the illustrations for the book, I had been working professionally long enough to know that I couldn't do this through a publisher. I couldn't approach a publisher and say, okay, Frankenstein, I want to do the the entire text with illustrations, and here's the way I want to do it. And then the publisher comes back and says, oh, okay, that's very interesting, but here's the way I want to do it. And, we will do it my way because I'm paying for it. So I knew that, if I'm going to do this at all, and I want to do it the way that I want to do it, I'm going to have to do it on my own. And that's what I did, essentially, was, start to finish. Over the course of 6 or 7 years, I answered to no one but myself. I'm very proud of that fact. In the first place, I think the Frankenstein drawings, I think it's the best work I've ever done.
Well, it was impressive enough to Stephen King to write an introduction. How did that come about?
I think we had already spoken about doing Cycle of the Werewolf at the time. So we did know each other. So one night Stephen King called me. I'd never spoken to him on the phone, so, at first I thought it was a gag, it's, oh, right, yeah, this is the Stephen King, yeah. Okay, he finally convinced me that it was really him. He was calling from Pittsburgh and told me, I'm here with George Romero, right? The George Romero? Yeah, we're working on a movie that, I wrote the screenplay for. It's this horror movie, creep show. It's an anthology. And we're going to come out with a comic book, at the same time the movie comes out. And it'll be a tie-in, and it'll be an actual comic book to go with the movie. And he asked, what are the chances of doing a full-color comic book, start to finish, in some ridiculous time like 2 months? And, I told him, oh, hell, of course. Piece of cake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In my sleep.
Yeah, exactly. Because, Stephen King, George Romero, Wow. Yeah. So I went to Pittsburgh for a week and just kind of hung around the set. He said, the best way to get a feel for the tone of this is to come here and see what we're doing, and visit a movie set of a George Romero movie and hang out with Stephen King and Tom Savini? I don't know. I don't
think I can fit in my schedule.
So yeah, I was there in a heartbeat. I spent about a week, hanging out on the set and everything, and hanging out with Steve, which was a lot of fun. Anyway, at one point, Steve said, look, I really appreciate you, taking on this creep show thing. He said, this was my idea to, have an actual comic book, tie in with the movie and everything, and George thinks it's a great idea, and he said, you're really saving our butts here. He said, anything I can do for you, and I said, actually, I'm in the process of illustrating Frankenstein. How about if I'll send you some copies of the drawings that I've done so far, and look at those. If you could write me a little introduction for this, whatever you think is appropriate, whatever you want to do, however much you want to put into it, I said I'd be very appreciative, and let me have it for free, we'll call it even, and he said, okay, it's done. And that's basically how it came about, and, to this day, hey, Steve, when you see this, thank you.
Any last comments you would like to make, Bernie?
Well, Frankenstein is probably the best thing that I've ever done. And it was done 20 years ago. And I'll probably never do anything that good or that grand ever again in my life. and I don't feel bitter about it at all. I feel great, you know. So it was 20 years ago. 20 years ago was my best moment ever. And I've got it here to look at and say, you know, just damn it, this is the best thing I ever did. How many people can say that, you know, about their best moment, you know? I'm the luckiest guy in the world.
Join me here again on the wild side of the imagination, where a sense of wonder and a feeling of terror can often intersect. You'll find us waiting here, the dark dreamers.